So this particular video, I'm not able to talk about openly and as comfortably and as in depth as I want to on any of my socials because of the topic it's about, which is suicide. So if you've been following me for any given time, you would know or may know that I struggle with suicide. I always have, and I have since the age of 13. The first time I ever attempted suicide, I was 13 years old. I put a 22 in my mouth and the sumbitch jammed. I would attempt suicide 3 more times before I was done high school. I stabbed myself each and every time. There was a point where I stabbed myself so violently that I was within 30 minutes of bleeding out, according to the ambulance. Fast forward to March 3rd, 2016. My best friend at the time passed away from a fentanyl overdose. And 1 year after that, of March 3rd, 2016, so March 3rd of 2017, the last person that I considered my best friend also passed away from a fentanyl overdose. That shit fucked with me. So in 2016, I went to talk with my doctor because at that point, the idea of suicide was sitting on me so heavy. That's all I could think about. That's all that my brain could process. Here's how we're going, or how could I kill myself? I go and see my family doctor at the time. I tell him everything that's going on, everything that I've been dealing with. At this point, I'm like 3-4 days without sleep. I am unable to focus on anything but the idea of killing myself. And it has never been that strong. That urge, that temptation, that desire had never been at that point in my life that controlling or consuming, if you will. I was prescribed a prescription of antidepressants, sleeping pills, and Ativan. If my memory serves correct, it was 2.5 milligrams of Ativan is what the tablets were, and I was given like refill upon refill upon refill with no questions asked. I was taking 14 Ativan a fucking day. What I was told is anytime I had anxiety, stress, any overwhelming feelings, or anything of that nature, take one. I got to 14 very, very quickly. There was a time in that abuse of Ativan, I had blacked out. For about 24 to 36 hours, there is no memory except for what I have been told. Working night shift, I was a fresh third year apprentice. I just finished my schooling. I became a third year apprentice. I was going back to night shift. We had a lightning stand down. What happened was I drove into work. Boom, I T-boned someone's vehicle. Didn't even know I fucking did it. Parked my truck. Went to work, signed in. So we had our toolbox meeting. I go in, I climbed to the top of the fin fans, or the coolers, if you will. For those of you who do not know what I'm talking about, these are big metal structures with big turbines, big fans in them, anywhere from 30 upwards to 60 feet tall. In residential, commercial, and industrial, like construction or job sites, if we have lightning, all work is immediately stopped. At least here in Canada. We had a lightning stand down. What everyone does is they go to the lunchroom or wherever the designated area is that we are to assemble at, and we stay there and we do a head count. I didn't. The entire group that I was with went one way. I went a different way. I climbed to the top of these fin fans, which are at the time about 60 feet high at the location that I was working at. And I stood on the very top and I was gonna jump. I was gonna jump right the fuck off. When they did their head count, they realized that I was missing, and the crew that I was with didn't even know I disappeared until it was too late. They thought maybe I went to the bathroom or something on the way back. What ended up happening is my superintendent made an all call, so any lead hand, any foreman, any general foreman, and the superintendents, coordinators, and so on, all went out into the field to try and find me. The superintendent himself found me, came up top, talked to me for a bit, The way he worded it is, I wasn't responsive, I wasn't there, I was just a shell of a person. Fast forward, I go to the Royal Alex psych ward. They call 911, an ambulance shows up, police officers, like a unit or two shows up, I'm in handcuffs, they put me in the back of the ambulance, and I wake up in the Royal Alex psych ward. Next day rolls around. At this point, it's been 16, maybe 18 hours. I haven't had any Ativan or anything. And I come to. I didn't realize I had left for work. My brain thought I was still at home playing fucking PlayStation. Not a fucking clue that I was at work when this all happened. The psychiatrist at the time, I believe it was a psychiatrist, sat down, talked with me, and was evaluating me, asked me these questions. And it kind of like registered. I was like, where the fuck am I? To which they told me, like, you're in the psych ward, this is what happened, so on and so forth. And I told them I shouldn't be here, I gotta go to work soon, like, what time is it? And they realized, like, I had no recollection of this. So they started asking me some questions, and I told them everything. I told them my doctor gave me this prescription at these doses, I've been taking this and this and this at this much at a time. So when you're already in a really dark suicidal low, or just a really dark space, and then you add these compounds, or these prescriptions, these drugs, if you will, it amplified it. So I was already in a real low. That shit brought me even down tenfold at a fucking alarming rate. Fast forward, I get seen by a psychiatrist and a psychologist there, and the staff, like the doctor on call or that was in the psych ward. I got letters from all of them stating it wasn't my fault, that it was the prescription I was given, that I'm not fucking completely mentally insane, and I was given an all clear by them to be returned back to work. Now, when I got back to work, I was barred access from site and received a lifetime ban from the facility, which wasn't on the company that I worked for. They had nothing to say or do with it. It was actually the client. So this is like who we work for, and then the company that contracts me out had no way of being able to decide what I could or could not do. The company I actually worked for gave me a short-term medical layoff, gave me, I think, 2 or 3 weeks off of work, and was willing to take me off night shift, bring me to day shift if they thought that would make an improvement on my mental health. Fast forward, I got a lifetime ban. What I want to get at, though, with all of this is I am currently coming up on 2 years of sobriety. I did not realize in my time of being in active addiction how much I struggle day in and day out with suicidal ideation, fixation, or tendencies. When I say that, there'd be times I would get fucking pissed drunk and I would do something, or I'd be really fucking high on something, and I would just do something, think like, well, fuck me, I got so fucked up, that's why I did it. Like, I was just in like a woe is me kind of state, and I acted on those impulses. When in actuality, I struggle with suicide. I think I struggle with the idea of suicide and the mental health aspect a lot more than I actually struggled with my addiction. The best way I can word it is, if suicidal fixation or the tendencies or the thought of it comes into my head, my conscious being, my subconscious, willingly and openly just opens that door without hesitation and lets those thoughts come in. I know on a daily fucking basis, I have intrusive thoughts. And I have become more aware of it since becoming sober. Now, this isn't like this is just me kind of venting in a sense and explaining this. I've noticed since becoming sober that I really have a poor ass shitty mental health, especially when it comes to certain aspects like self-doubt, maybe self-harm, self-care, reassurance, a lot of properties that people normally have that are healthy, I don't. I'm constantly like Chester Bennington from Linkin Park said it best. Like, this area is a fucking dangerous neighborhood, right? And when I'm alone, that's a bad place for me to be. In the same breath, though, like, I fucking hate being around people, so it's a fucking lose-lose. But I know now how much I struggle with it. And when I want to say November, middle of November comes around, I am consciously aware that I shut down. I shut down from everything and everyone. I don't find the desire to associate with people. Things get to me a lot quicker. I distance myself. Like, in this time of the year, for about 2 or 3 months, this is when I hit my lows and I take major steps back. And in a sense, I think it is like a defense barrier, or like a coping mechanism, or some sort of protection for myself, if you will, from the outside world. I'm a very, like, stubborn person in a sense, but I'm also a very independent person. I got sober on my own. I have been raw dogging this mental health shit on my own. And I've gone to therapy. I have gone for prescriptions and whatnot. And when I take medication in regards to the mental health stuff, I'll feel nothing for you. Not a damn thing. There are maybe 2 or 3 people, that's it. Like, that's it. Maybe 2, honestly, that I absolutely feel the world for. But in the same breath, I feel nothing for. I still care, and like, it's so hard to explain. Like, I love life, I love everything, but I don't care for a lot of things. What I want to get at is, if this resonates with anyone, if this sounds familiar, like, I fucking struggle with it day in and day out. I constantly have these thoughts. But I found for me, there was other things that I had to kind of put in place to hold me accountable, or rooted, if you will. For example, my dog, my mom, right? I use these as like constant reminders that my dog would never understand what happened if I don't come home, or if I act upon these things. My dog will never understand that. My mom does not need to bury a son, period. There's weird things, I guess, in a way, that I do or use to kind of keep myself going forward and planted. I don't know really why I felt the need to go on this rant, but I think people ask me a lot about, like, what do you do, or how do you stay sober, and this and that. Well, the sober part, don't get me wrong, it's hard in a sense, because, like, I still think about, like, getting fucked up in a way, right? And it's like, not fucked up as like going out and partying and all that. Like, my definition of fucked up is there's no on or off switch. It's like having a running tap of water and having it wide open. That's my definition of fucked up. Go, 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 go. There's no stopping. It's just sabotage and self-destruction and completely breaking down everything. That's how my brain is. That's how I am. That's how I've always been. Like, for some people it's partying. For me, it's not partying. It's not like that. It is pushing the envelope to the absolute max and not knowing what my boundaries are. A few different things to help me progress and feel better, whether it's going to the gym and seeing how I can push the envelope there with my physique and working out and becoming stronger, or just getting a dream body goal, if you will, or making sure that I am always there for my mom or my dogs. I think that has kind of been the biggest thing for me. I thought I'd share that with everyone. Like, I know the holidays are a hard time, and I know a lot of people kind of shut down and whatnot, but that's just something that I do, and something that kind of just helps. Is I have to find a way to not use necessarily, but prioritize or make something bigger than myself in order to keep me on straight and narrow or healthy path, right? Finding a way to give back and taking myself out of the equation is what I do.